Ladies and gentlemen, welcome President of the American Council of Engineering Companies, Arizona, Justin Rice.
On behalf of the ACEC Board of Directors, myself, and Amerigo Berdeschi, we thank you so much for your support of this conference. It took a lot of courage and a lot of faith to join us, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you so much. So today we have a little bit of a different format for you because we have not one, but two amazing speakers. So because we have two amazing speakers, what I would like you to do is that if you have a question for those speakers, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A section or the chat at the bottom of your screen. If you would, please, the two speakers are Nicole Nason and Kelly Regal. We'll be introducing them in a minute. But if you have a question specifically for Nicole, please go ahead and put that in the chat for Nicole and then ask your question. If you have a question for Kelly, please put for Kelly and ask your question. That just will help me ensure that the question gets to just the right person. So thank you very much. So today, again, a little bit different. We have a fabulous sponsor for this session. Very generously, Gannett Fleming is joining us today as our official sponsor for this closing session. So if you'll give me just a moment, I would like to share a little about Gannett Fleming and then introduce to you Chet Teaford. So here we go. Gannett Fleming is based in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and has been in business for over 100 years, 104 to be exact. They're one of the largest firms in the US, and their current ENR rankings include 33 among top design firms and 13 in transportation. I'd say that's pretty darn good. Gannett Fleming has led or supported delivery of some of the largest transportation infrastructure projects in Arizona, right here in our home state. These projects include Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, SkyTrain Phases 1, 1A, and 2, Valley Metro LRT projects, including South Central Extension. They were the Tier 1 subconsultant to AECOM, the 50th Street Station design consultant, and they were also part of the GEC for the original Central Phoenix East Valley 20-mile project in partnership with WSP. They've also were key in the I-40 Devil Dog roadway reconstruction for ADOT, and the I-10 Perryville TI reconstruction. They were the lead designer. Gannett Fleming is a leader in transitioning to a new and better organization, including initiatives such as diversity inclusion, their corporate ride program for connecting and developing for our young professionals, and continuing our strong ISO certification quality processes. So if you're impressed by Gannett Fleming, I don't know what will impress you. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to pass over to Mr. Chet Teaford, Principal Business Development and Operations at Gannett Fleming, of course. And Chet will be introducing our speakers for you. Take it away, Chet, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Justin, and good morning to everyone at another Friday at Roads and Streets. It is my pleasure to introduce your keynote speakers for this morning's session, Ms. Nicole Nason and Dr. Kelly Regal. Nicole Nason's tenure as an administrator of the Federal Highway Administration began on April 22nd, 2019. In this role, she leads a modal administration within the U.S. Department of Transportation that is responsible for the nation's $49 billion federal aid highway program. Previously, Ms. Nason was Assistant Secretary of the U.S. State Department's Bureau of Administration from December 2017 to March 2019. Ms. Nason has served in numerous roles in Washington, D.C., notably as Administrator of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, we're all familiar with them, at the U.S. Department of Transportation from 2006 to 2008, where she was a two-time gold medal winner, the department's highest honor. She also served as DOT's Assistant Secretary for Government Affairs from 2003 to 2006. Ms. Nason earned a BA in Political Science and Government at American University and a JD at Case Western Reserve University School of Law, and also holds a black belt in karate. In January 2020, Dr. Kelly Regal joined the Federal Highway Administration's FHWA's Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center as the new Associate Administrator for Research, Development, and Technology, becoming the first woman to lead the center in a 70-year history. Prior to her appointment at federal FHWA, she served as the Associate Administrator of Research and Information Technology at the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Kelly joined FCMSA in 2009, has worked in the transportation industry her entire career, beginning with the Federal Aviation Administration. Dr. Regal has more than 30 years of research, engineering, and information technology leadership and management experience from the private sector and in the federal government, as well as holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from Seton Hall University in South Orange, New Jersey, a master's degree in aeronautical science from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and a PhD in transportation engineering from the New Jersey Institute of Technology. And now, Nicole Nason.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate the chance to be with you virtually. Thank you so much, Justin and Chet, for that very kind introduction. I was looking forward to getting to Arizona in person, but I'm glad that we could do this virtually. I have been told this is the 69th year of this conference, so I have to recognize, first and foremost, the American Council of Engineering Companies in Arizona for that tremendous achievement. And I think it's terrific that you have found a way to bring the entire transportation community together, especially for such a long event, to discuss advancements and issues facing the transportation community this year. And I think we can agree there are many unusual issues facing the transportation community this year. I also want to say thank you to FHWA's Arizona Division Administrator, Carla Petty. I know she's out there somewhere on Zooms. Carla, thank you so much for the tremendous work that you and your team do to improve communication between us in DC and what's going on in Arizona. It's so critical. And so a virtual wave, and thanks to Carla, and I'm sure those of you who have worked with her agree that she is a tremendous asset at FHWA. We appreciate the challenges that you are all facing as industry leaders, managing your transportation systems and moving your infrastructure projects while safeguarding your employees and the communities that they serve. This has certainly been an interesting year for all of us. I saw a story the other day where someone said that they've used the word unprecedented too many times in newspaper stories, and that editors have said they can no longer use the word. But these are unprecedented times. And we are dealing with things that we've never had to contemplate before, just like all of you. We are dealing with the challenge of having almost all of our workforce teleworking, and managing all of the different approaches and responses that each state and all city and county leaders have taken to protecting the public. And of course, the impacts that the stay-at-home orders and the social distancing requirements are having on traffic and the operation of our transportation system. Data from the first full week of April, which is, for me, what I consider the height of the pandemic, when we were all home across the country, showed that interstate travel was down 47% compared to that same week 1 year ago. That's 7.8 billion fewer miles traveled. Data from last week indicated that we're down roughly 10% from last year. So we are on the right track. Travel has ramped back up. We are not back to 2019 levels yet. So I thought I would speak for just a moment about what we have done at Federal Highways and how we've managed the last 7 months during the national health emergency, and then talk a little bit about our priorities going forward. Because like you, we still have an agenda and we want to advance it. At the onset, sorry, is the audio back? At the onset of the emergency, Public awareness was critical at FHWA, and we provided the use of changeable message signs to allow for COVID-19 related messages. Then to ensure the critical free flow of supplies and other essential goods, we clarified the state's authority to issue permits for overweight vehicles and loads during national emergencies. And with the critical freight demand came the need to keep the national network open to traffic and rest areas open for commercial drivers to safely rest. And then as restaurants began to limit access and service, we allowed states to temporarily permit food trucks at interstate rest areas to feed commercial truck drivers. Normally, of course, commercial activity is prohibited, but unusual times, as you all know, call for unusual solutions. Now we find ourselves in the next phase, as many localities have begun a return to some degree of normalcy and economic recovery. Businesses and commercial districts begin to open and maintain social distancing practices. Some states have requested the temporary use of sidewalks and parking spaces to allow for restaurants in the right-of-way to social distance. And we have said, because of these unusual circumstances that we are all facing, that we will grant temporary fair market exceptions for these purposes. This may not be such a major issue in Arizona, but I can assure you it's incredibly important for many restaurants on the East Coast. And of course, provided there are safety measures for the individuals. I know Arizona took swift action to take advantage of these special authorities, including permitting overweight loads, adding truck parking spaces, enabling the use of food trucks in rest areas. And as the national emergency has continued longer than maybe some of us expected, we have heard from many stakeholders about decreases in state revenue and the ripple effects that those decreases are having on staffing and programs. While some states have taken immediate action to furlough staff or halt some of their projects or delay maintenance, others are holding steady for the near term. But all have expressed budget concerns in the next 6 months to a year as revenue decreases begin to more clearly manifest themselves in day-to-day operations. We do understand the funding uncertainty that state DOTs and local agencies are facing with the expiration of the FAST Act coming up. I think we have 5 days left, but who's counting? And we know that extensions are more challenging for planning. I would like to say that I am appreciative to our leaders from Arizona and across the country who heard us when we made our plea to not give us short-term 3-month and 4-month extensions. So on the positive side, the current discussions seem to have landed us at a 1-year extension, which is an improvement over the incremental extensions we have seen in the past. I can assure you that whatever the situation is, come October 1, FHWA will be there to work with you and to assist however we can. And I know I can speak for Carla Petty when I say we are here anytime we can be supportive. As the nation continues to open up in phases, our highway system is as critical as ever, perhaps more critical than ever. And through these difficult times, the safety of the traveling public continues to be our North Star. U.S. Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao always notes in every speech that safety is the top priority of the department. It is my top priority and is top of mind for all the modal administrators. Despite improvements in roadway and intersection design and work zone management and traffic incident management, and as a former NHTSA administrator, I can tell you we have more safety features on and in cars than we've ever had before. We still lose an average of 100 people per day on our roads, and I think we can all agree that is unacceptable. Pedestrian safety is an area of special interest for me and a place where FHWA has really redoubled our efforts during the national health emergency. Pedestrians are, of course, our most vulnerable road users. There were 6,283 pedestrian fatalities in 2018. That is the highest level since 1990. I was in college, so we haven't made nearly enough progress. Nearly 1 out of 5 traffic fatalities that year was a pedestrian. Pedestrian fatalities in Arizona have risen 40% over the last 6 years to an all-time high of 237 in 2018. Now, I do have some good news. The preliminary data for 2019 shows a small decline, but there is still so much left to be done to enhance pedestrian safety, especially now, which I'm sure you all are facing. More people than ever working from home. So many children at virtual school. Everyone wants to get outside, ride their bike, take a walk, have some exercise. The number of pedestrians and cyclists is higher now, maybe than ever. So as a result, the streets are teeming with risks for drivers and pedestrians. Through our Safe Transportation for Every Pedestrian initiative, the STEP program, which is my favorite acronym in federal highways, we are promoting a range of cost-effective countermeasures with known safety benefits to help transportation agencies reduce pedestrian-related crashes. These countermeasures include crosswalk visibility enhancements, pedestrian hybrid beacons, rectangular rapid flashing beacons, and many others. I was so pleased to learn that Arizona has strongly embraced STEP, and you have established an Arizona STEP team to facilitate the implementation of these countermeasures. In response to requests for guidance on countermeasure selection and design, ADOT and the STEP team developed an Arizona-specific online STEP tool. Hold on. No, you are in the camera. Out.
I'm sorry.
Go. Online STEP tool.
So
The tool not only walks them through recommended countermeasures, but provides examples of drawings and specifications. In July, we led a virtual USDOT Pedestrian Safety Summit to engage stakeholders and obtain input from USDOT Pedestrian Safety Action Plan. We were like you. We tried to figure out how to do it in person, and then we decided we'll do it in a series virtually because it's too important to simply wait until we can get together in person. This plan will outline various actions to enhance pedestrian safety in both the near and long term, and we are currently finalizing the plan and hope to publish it in Pedestrian Safety Month in October. And we hope this plan will serve as another valuable resource in our joint efforts to reduce pedestrian fatalities and serious injuries. I am also pleased to share the news today that Arizona was recently awarded nearly $39 million for build grants. Just over $21 million was awarded to Gila County's Tonto Creek Bridge project to fund construction of a bridge over Tonto Creek to provide safe all-weather crossing, and nearly $18 million was awarded to the City of Phoenix to support pedestrian and other safety upgrades to the 35th Avenue corridor. These two discretionary grants will help enhance safety of the traveling public. In Arizona, and of course, the build grants are nationwide. And I did some media on Arizona, and I know what support there was in the community for this. Now, one final topic I would like to address is innovation. Nothing about this national emergency, and I know we are all struggling to make things normal right now in our communities, but nothing about this national health emergency has prevented us from focusing on innovation. Research, development, and technology continue to be top priorities for FHWA. We know we are in a unique leadership position to fund issues of national significance, requiring high-risk, long-term, distinctive areas of research to improve safety and efficiency and longevity of roads and bridges and tunnels. We are evaluating everything from automated vehicles, of course, that's what we always get asked about, but also use of drones and 3D printing, enhanced design methods and improved construction materials. This time last year, we held our first ever research showcase at DOT headquarters to provide demonstrations and some phenomenal research that we have underway. And I know that Dr. Kelly Riegel is going to talk about some of these things shortly. I would just like to say that I'm very proud that we stole Kelly away from FMCSA, and we are very glad to have her as our Associate Administrator of Research, Development, and Technology. And earlier this week, we rolled out our latest round of the Everyday Counts initiative with our theme, which I need to give credit to Dr. Kelly Riegel for, Innovation for a Nation on the Move. And the 7 innovations that we have identified will continue the legacy of EDC and support our efforts. I am particularly fond of one of these innovations, which is the ultra high performance concrete for bridge preservation and repair. Not just the use of ultra high performance concrete, but to use it for repair and preservation. And I am such a believer in this material and this product that I sent it on purpose. We made little coasters and I sent it to Congress, to the members of our committee, to show them how important this material was and how much we believed in it at FHWA. So if you would like any information on EDC or anything else, please come to our website. It's fhwa.dot.gov. From rebuilding our infrastructure to reducing fatalities on our roads and serious injuries to advancing innovations, the only way I think we're going to be successful is if we work together. It's been complicated here at Federal Highways, as you just saw, and as all of you are experiencing, trying to manage our team. And all 2,700 of us have been spread out and are working from home. But we are just continuing to adjust. My children, like so many of yours, are home from school, and my spouse is home working like so many of yours. And so we spend the day carrying our laptops around on the staircase, passing each other. Our senior leadership team at Federal Highways is home, but we are still working to advance safety and innovation, even as all of these incredibly unusual things are happening for all of us. And mistakes still get made, as you can see, and we're all still trying to adjust. But I hope you know that we are here for you and we want to be supportive. Whatever your concerns and issues are, we are working at FHWA, even in, the most awkward of circumstances. We are working. We are on the phone and on our Zoom calls day and night. So please don't hesitate to reach out. If you raise up issues, that's how we know that they're problems. And I can move them to the secretary and senior leadership in the administration. So I just want to stress that I really believe, especially this extraordinary year. And I am someone who had to take off her shoes and run at 9/11. I never thought I would see anything as extraordinary as that. And yet here we are, all of us home, dealing with a global health emergency. So your continued collaboration is critical to our success in delivering our transportation system. I want to say thank you for your patience with our Zoom issues here in my house, but also thank you for the work that you have done and will continue to do to keep America moving. And with that, I will hand it back to Kelly Riegel and Justin Rice. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Administrator Nason, for that handoff, Chet for the introduction, and audience. Thank you for the opportunity and participating in today's conference. This, I'm going to admit, is my first virtual conference. So I'm a rookie at this. I apologize ahead of time if I make any rookie mistakes. So what I'm going to be talking to you about, as Administrator Nason referred to, is what we're doing at Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center. I'll highlight some of the research, and I'll also highlight some of the research in partnership with the state of Arizona. I am not driving the slides. I have somebody else doing that for me, so I'll be saying next slide as I advance through the presentation. And then after the presentation, I have a short video, less than 5 minutes, that will actually show you some of the things that I have been talking about. So next slide, please. Again, I'll give you a brief overview of our research program, some highlights, success stories, as well as what we're doing with the state of Arizona. Next slide. Next slide, please. Our focus at Federal Highways is safety. Safety is our #1 priority. We're also looking at enhancing the transportation infrastructure, reducing congestion, and providing that data analysis to help us make the decisions in transportation. Next slide. First, a little bit about Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center. If you are not familiar with it or haven't heard about it, it is located in McLean, Virginia. It is a federally owned and operated facility, laboratory. It has 15 distinct separate laboratories within the compound there, the campus. And we focus on safety research, operations research, infrastructure research. I understand that we also have one of your alumni, Jean Neme, who is now our infrastructure R&D long-term infrastructure performance team leader at Turner Fairbank. And I understand he worked at Arizona DOT in multiple capacities. So that's us at Turner Fairbank. We do about $70 million in our own tour. Next slide. So some of our success stories. Next slide. And as I mentioned earlier, you'll also be seeing some of these in the video. Karma. Karma is our platform for developing and testing out cooperative driving automation software. I believe that Brian Cronin, who is my director of the Office of Safety and Operations, he provided you last year a briefing more specifically on Karma. Karma is actually a multimodal initiative. We work with our Intelligent Transportation System Joint Program Office, our Maritime Administration, the Federal Transit Administration, as well as the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which I may have met some of you when I was out in Arizona a couple of years ago. And we're using this platform to look at the safety benefits of any cooperative driving automation systems that may be introduced on various different vehicles. And we're doing this in a way that this is universities nationwide to help develop algorithms, to test various different algorithms with respect to CDA, and making it available as well to them. So this slide here, let me direct your attention to the lower left slide. This is who we call Junior. This is a F-110 robot car, a platform where we can actually introduce the Karma software onto and do various different scenarios and run testing. The reason why this little guy is so important here is it only costs about $3,000 as opposed to the $300,000 for a fully equipped vehicle that you see on the right there, the lower right of the picture there. So why it's called 1/10, it's based off the 1/10 racing platform used in university robotics courses. And so we've taken this robot car and we're populating with the Karma software so that we can run through various different scenarios at a low cost, lesser scale, and also being able to introduce this concept to universities too. So they're not looking at having to purchase a $300,000 vehicle. And we'll show you a little bit more in the video with respect to that. Next slide. The Federal Outdoor Impact Laboratory, or FOIL, here's where we actually conduct some crash tests, working with our partners, the Federal Highways Land Partners, our partners at the Department of State, also project respect to highway crashes and their effects. We develop and apply various different tools as a part of our detailed analysis. And it also includes evaluation of innovative designs for roadways and roadside hardware. Next slide. This is a slide showing some information about a recent crash test done on July 28th. The concrete barrier that you see in the upper right corner there, that actually was to, mimic the same type of roadside barriers we see on the George W. GW Parkway here in Washington, D.C., which is pretty much operated by the National Park Service. And this stone-faced concrete bridge rail, as they call it, we were looking at crashing a regular-sized vehicle at 62 miles an hour to see what the impact would be and what the effect would be of that crash. The crash was successful in our eyes. The barrier held up, and although the car, you could see some of the damage to the car there. We're hoping to show a lot of this and really share a lot of the results more in a real-time situation. So we're experimenting with various different video capabilities and technology to bring this into real time, especially with our partners who have funded this research. And so we've taken some of the video clips from this crash and included it at the end. Next slide. I won't say a whole lot about this. The administrator, she mentioned this, UHPC. It is part of our EDC6 program, looking at how to use this material in maintenance and repair now. There's 250 plus bridges in the United States that include UHPC for some component. For connection or repair, and including what I learned is that the I-40 bridge in Belmont, Arizona, they use closure pores between precast deck panels, and that next slide. Modular mini roundabouts. Here's a case where asking for small businesses to submit proposals on various different ideas that we put forward. And here's roundabouts made from recycled plastic, and the installation is cheaper and quicker to deploy. The picture that right here is of an installation in Annandale, Virginia. There's another one going to be installed in San Diego, and we're looking forward to these types of partnerships as well with small businesses who come up with great ideas like these modular mini roundabouts. I've seen this one in Annandale, being that I'm in Washington, D.C. here, and coming from a Jersey girl here, we have many circles in Jersey. It's pretty efficient, and I think it calms the traffic flow there. And a little tidbit: when you're entering into the circle, don't make eye contact, and the bigger and the oldest car gets to go first. Next slide. So you can move on to the next slide as well. I asked my team, I said, okay, so what are the things that we're partnering with Arizona? And they came up with a list of a couple of things. And as you know, the long-term pavement performance program, that information specifically, Arizona had 158 active sections as part as the LTPP program. the bridge program, performance program there. So you can look at data on all your various different bridges in that program. It's just, looking up information on a website or InfoBridge website. We've also are working with ADOT on trying to come up with a more systematic process to incorporate environmental, not just environmental, but economic information considerations for your pavement management decision-making process. So these are a couple of things that we're partnering. We can go to the next slide. And there's more examples here. One of the things I wanted to highlight on this slide is the multimodal intelligent traffic signal system, where using our this transportation pool fund study, we're able to come up some real good results with respect to this particular area. Another area is where we all participated together in our R&T evaluation report. Here's where we used SHARP 2 traffic incident management trainings, where we reached over 150 emergency responders. And I'm not sure if you know, but in Metropolitan Phoenix, the evaluators found that the SHARP 2 TIM trainings contributed to decreases in secondary crashes that involved emergency responders. So here's an example of a successful partnership and where we're actually impacting safety. Next slide. Again, that's just a couple of highlights of important research that we're performing at Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center, and as well as a report performing with you as one of our state partners. This contains contact information for myself as well as my team. And what I'd like to do now is show you some of the things that I've just recently been talking about. So I'd like to ask my team in the background here to start the video. Welcome to Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center. I'm Dr. Kelly Riegel, the new director at Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center, and today I'm going to show you some awesome research being conducted at the center here. First, let me show you Junior here. Junior is our new research tool supporting cooperative driving automation program. Junior is a 1/10 scale size automated car where we're installing the Karma platform on it so that we can support not only our researchers, but as researchers in universities and high school across the nation find cost-effective ways to get involved in cooperative driving automation. Junior only costs about $3,000 as compared to a fully equipped research vehicle that costs about $300,000. So again, this is just one way we're being innovative and being cost-effective in the research that we conduct here at Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center. So let me show you some more that we're doing here at the center. Junior, you ready? Let's go. Greater integration of automated vehicles into the transportation system promises to enhance safety, efficiency, and economic benefits. Cooperative driving automation, or CDA, supports this integration through sharing of information that allows for greater situational awareness and better decision-making by an automated driving system. The Federal Highways Karma program is a multimodal research initiative to facilitate development of CDA concepts. Currently, in addition to Federal Highways, the Intelligent Transportation System Joint Program Office, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, the Maritime Administration, and the Federal Transit Administration are all using Karma. Our Karma products are open source software available to all. So how can you learn more or become involved? You can help us to identify R&D partners at the state and local levels to develop and assess the capabilities and benefits of cooperative driving automation. The Federal Outdoor Impact Laboratory, or FOIL, aims to advance public knowledge of highway crashes and their effects, develop and apply tools for detailed analysis, and evaluate innovative design for roadways and roadside hardware. We partner with NCHRP,
the State Department, NHTSA, and federal lands to conduct tests supporting the R&D of barrier systems. For example, we conducted a crash test in a stone-faced concrete bridge rail design to comply with AASHTO MASH requirements. This project represents part of a concerted effort by the National Park Service and federal highways to improve the safety performance of park roads and parkways without sacrificing their aesthetic effect. This test was considered a success. The stones on the barrier did not pose any snagging issues. The stone attachment method also proved to be successful. This is not part of the crash test criteria, but is seen as a positive. This was the first test that we live streamed over MS Teams so that other federal highway staff and our partners with a stake in the crash test can observe from a remote location and hope to expand its use to build more interest in collaboration. The ultra-high performance concrete for bridge preservation and repair is a national level effort being led by Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center. It promotes repair and strengthening solutions. UHPC is emerging as a solution to many preservation challenges. For example, there are 250 plus bridges in the United States that include UHPC for some component, connection, or repair. It can be used in situations that normally use conventional concrete or repair mortars, and in some cases, structural steel. Our research includes material level and structural level studies, better understanding of the behavior, performance, and durability of bridge decks overlaid with UHPC, and developing design guidance and best practices. How can you get involved? We are actively looking to partner with interested owners, stakeholders using these new tools as part of our EDC6 initiative. These are only some of the programs and projects we are working on at Turner Fairbank Highway Research Center. Thank you for listening. I hope you visit our website to learn more. And I also hope in the very near future you can come out to the facility and visit us in McLean, Virginia. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for those great presentations. We'll move into Q&A now, and I do have a few questions here. We'll go ahead and start with one for Kelly. Kelly, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Thank you. So, pedestrian safety is critical, as Administrator Nason mentioned. Is there more importance in understanding the driver's view or the pedestrian's view?
I think both are important. We're trying to understand not only the driver behavior, but as well as the pedestrian and bicyclist behaviors. We have several research projects going on there, and for the first time, my team with Cheryl Walker, who's the director of the Office of Safety, we've gotten together to carve out a safety strategic plan, research plan in particular around ped bike safety.
Thank you. Another question for you, Kelly. Can you touch on collaboration with others such as NHTSA and FMSCA?
Yeah, so NHTSA and our Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, as you can see, probably saw in the video clip, were trucks going down the highway. So the truck platooning as well as automated trucks are very much an interest to us. We have partnered with Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration to understand the safety impacts of any truck platooning or automated truck on the highway. I believe it was July 27th, we announced the phase 2 of the early deployment demonstration projects with truck platooning, and the winner of that solicitation has chosen part of the I-10 corridor to be one of their testing routes, and that testing doesn't happen until spring of next year. So that's an example of our partnership with, for example, Motor Carrier Safety Administration. And we're always coordinating with NHTSA and partnering with them. One of the things that they are looking at are automated technology with traffic signals for first responders, and we're participating in that with them.
Thank you, Kelly. I do have a few questions here that were initially kind of slated for Nicole. So I hope it's okay if I ask you. If this isn't your area, that's no problem whatsoever. I figured maybe we give it a shot. Would that be okay?
Sure, I'll answer what I can. If not,
Thanks, Kelly.
we can take that back and get some answers for you. Oh, there's Administrator
There's Nicole.
I've relocated.
There you are, Nicole. Thank you for joining us once again. So I do have a couple of questions here for you if you're game for answering. The first question is this. Nicole, are there any actions the FHWA is taking to curb carbon emissions that are forthcoming that we can expect in the next 2, 5, 10 years when working with state DOTs and local governments? For example, would incentives be given by FHWA to these local agencies by showing a reduction in carbon emissions with their projects?
How about now?
You're good to go.
My apologies. I have relocated. Yes, there's tremendous interest. Of course, there's huge interest. A lot of this results in work that we do with NHTSA. When you're talking about specific carbon emissions and opportunities for the department to explore through research, but also through new grant programs, there's extreme interest. One of the things I was very disappointed about was that we did not get a surface transportation reauthorization bill where we could have explored a lot of these interesting issues. And also there was a lot of material in there I wanted to talk about with resiliency. And just, the year happened. I mean, 2020 has been what it has been. And so we were all refocused at DOT, but I am very, very hopeful that the work that the team has done in policy and government affairs at Federal Highways will emerge next year. Once the new Congress is sworn in, there will be changes to committees, to chairmanships, to subcommittee chairmanships. And then I'm expecting that, in fact, I almost feel like I should stress to this audience of professionals, we really have to encourage our leaders to start those conversations right away. In March or April, because even with a one-year extension, we are going to run out of time like that. So the answer is yes. We haven't released a lot of this information, but I hope we do early in the spring.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I appreciate that. I do have one more question here for you, if you're game for that. Okay. The question, Nicole, is this. What do you think is the likelihood for action on the FAST Act?
Ironic, isn't it?
Isn't it?
I know. There was tremendous interest, and of course, President Trump and Secretary Chao had been aggressively trying to push Congress to move ahead with the new FAST Act, whatever the next FAST Act was going to be called, because we know how critical it is to have long-term planning opportunities. And there was great interest, and I thought we were making real progress. And then we all went home in March, and most of us are still home. And Congress has coalesced, it looks like, around a one-year extension. So we're going to have FAST +1. And by all requests we've gotten from Congress for technical assistance, they want it as clean as possible. So very few to no anomalies, even though I know we have several states and local communities that were looking for special carve-outs for just difficult circumstances that had happened in their communities. And Congress is saying they want a straight one-year extension. But again, I really need to stress that 1 year is going to run out very fast, especially with a new Congress being sworn in next year and them taking the time they always take to reshuffle committee chairs and readjust chairmanships, and then new members have new priorities. And so those discussions need to be had. So I would really encourage everyone who's participating in this event today, you are all important transportation professionals, and your state and federal leaders listen to your voices even more than mine and Kelly's. I mean, you are much more important than we are. So please encourage Congress to come up with a new fast, if let's call it faster, as early as they can in the spring.
Unfortunately, there is nothing fast about the FAST Act. And I can certainly tell you that ACEC Arizona, as well as many of our sister associations, have been watching closely. And, we're at least happy to be able to potentially get that 1 year extension in there. And hopefully your dream comes true of the FASTer Act. I know we would all appreciate it as well. Well, that's all we have for this morning's presentation, folks. So thank you again for joining us. A very special thank you to Nicole Nason and Kelly Riegel for joining us this morning from Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. You heard it here first. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the final day of the 2020 virtual conference on roads and streets. I know it's been a really exciting program. I've gotten a lot of feedback. People have really enjoyed it. And I just can't thank you enough for being with us. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you online. Don't forget, breakout sessions start at 9:15 today, and you still have the opportunity to join again at 12:15 in the main stage for Dave Burstein ×2 with excellent audio, I assure you. Thank you again for being here. We couldn't do it without you. And with that, have a fantastic day.